right, welcome to Cafe Wish Podcast interview.
Can you give me some insights of people who are um considering themselves as black or someone else, and is this happening because of their genetics or they're just imagining it? So
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. Bringing it, I thank you for bringing it back to the people, right? To the people groups. So, I as I've grown up, and like I said, I've been black my whole life, and I've seen different people. They call it in the states cultural appropriation. I see it as something a little different, depending on who's doing it, right? If white people are quote unquote taking a part of black culture, to me that's cultural appropriation. Especially if they don't value it, especially if we haven't got our reparations. These are the things I think about, right? I'm just being, I'm bearing my soul. I'm being honest with you. These are things I think about. But when I see certain people around the world who are in Asia or South America or wherever, you know, um, well, first I already know that there are black people globally. But speaking to the Asian black community, um, you know, a lot of Americans don't even know, or it's not commonly known that Asians are genetically black, right? Because there was a study done during the late 20th century, during the 1990s. Dr. Jin Lee, he did a research in China on the genetics and the origins of Chinese people because they believe the mythology of Eurasianism, white Euro-Eurasianism, and also they believe that they came from another type of humanoid. And the studies showed that Dr. Jin Lee's research and his team discovered that 1 out of 5 Chinese people are African descent or African or black, if you will. Um, which goes into show a ratio of 1 to 5. So what does that look like, 1 to 5? Well, if we put that on the whole country, 1 out of 5, really that's a ratio of per person. Meaning as, this is how I'm breaking it down, right? Every Chinese person is 1 out of 5 black. Meaning that the gene, talking about genetics, answer your question about genetics, this is what my research is starting to show, and I'm going to speak to more professionals in this genealogy and the genetics and geneticists. I plan to interview them, Lord willing. I will interview them. But far as I'm breaking it down in my novice, uh, research that I'm doing is very very in an infancy stage. As far as when it comes to development and comes to expertise, I'm far from an expert. So everything I'm saying right now is still it's coming from a novice person, right? I'm a novice person in this, but nonetheless, 1 out of 5, I consider that if I take that 1 out of 5 and put it on one person, so the black gene, if I call it that, or the Negro gene, however people see it, but for my research, I call it the Negro black gene pool. And every Negro black gene pool has Negro black genes, right? And that might be offensive to some people, but it's not to me. This is just linking us all together because language is important, and Negrito is Negro, right? Negro is black, so Negro black gene pool. Um, this is how I'm breaking it down. And it's not tied to any social geopolitical movement. It's not tied to any cultural economic movement. It's not tied to any politic. This is my individual research, right? So this is purely on how I'm seeing it. Of course, I'm using other backed research. Of course, I'm using other great minds like W.E.B. Du Bois, uh, like Dr. Ahmed, and Dr. Jin Lee, I'm using a lot of doctors here, like Zora Neale Hurston, also like Dr. Joy DeGroy, who did her research on post-traumatic slave syndrome. She's amazing. She's awesome. Also looking at other doctors, such as Dr. Joseph Ben Chohanan, who's an ancestor now, but so is Zora Neale Hurston, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, um, all these other doctors who are living or have become ancestors. And so many other researchers. And then also thinking about the imagination part. So going back to the people groups, peoples around the globe who identify as black, a lot of them have ancestry. So black, let me just say this really quickly. Black politically has been used by white Euro, whoever, whatever variable, white Euro American, white European, white Euro South American, white Euro Australian, white Euro Asian, white Euro, white Euro people from Africa. Okay, it's been used politically by them, and other nations have followed suit for the past 500 years because of colonization and because of the transatlantic slave trade. They just tie the understanding of black or blackness to them, and they like to retrograde it or retrograde it back to, times of antiquity, which is crazy because then they say, well, how can you say someone is black? Because, there's nuance there and research, because they'll double talk it. They'll say you can't retrograde black people or blackness into history, but that's exactly what they do, right? Anytime you say, "Oh, the Spartans were black," well, you're saying that they're black, but you can't say they're. But then they'll turn around and say who's black and who's not in history, yes. like they play this game. I don't play that game, and I don't hold to. When I mean by black, I'm not talking about politically black. I'm talking about historically black, based upon the migrations out of the motherland, the theory there, and also based upon the slaveries and the colonization. What do I mean by slaveries? The transatlantic slavery, trans-Sahara slavery, and the Silk Road, and the slavery that happened during the Silk Road, right? Where a lot of the Asians were enslaved, a lot of people of the continent of the motherland were brought to Asia as well. Trans-Sahara was taken from the motherland to Asia as well. And there's so much and so forth. So basically, I don't hold to the political view of that. When I'm talking about people's imagination, I'm not saying that they're making it up in their mind. Oh, I'm black because I want to be. No. Or I'm changing clothes, or they use it as white Euro people do as cultural appropriation. No, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about they have if you want a metaphysical connection in their imagination that, hey, I think I'm black or I am black. Once again, it's tied to the migrations. It's tied to their ethnicity. A lot of the indigenous people are known as the Afro people of their land. Most, if not all, indigenous people are black, meaning as they are black in their phenotype, they're black in their representation, how they look, their behaviors. It goes into all of that, even to representation in the anime world, right? A lot of the anime is white Euro features. But Asians don't look like white Euros, do they?
Yeah, I mean, like.
But what I'm saying is that they don't look. So basically, when I see an anime character, I think I'm looking at someone who's trying to be a phenotype of a white Euro, typically a white Euro person, yeah. Right? And there are people of color that are in the anime.
Yeah.
But I remember growing up where you had characters like Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z, who's
Yeah.
black as the night.
Yeah.
Even in Pokemon, they have characters who resemble black people.
Yeah.
You know, black people traditionally in the anime world or universe are displayed as caricatures of black people or monsters, or they look crazy, you know, or they look like there's something offbeat. It all goes into the white Euro view of Asianism. That's what's breeding out. That's what. Remember, eugenics goes into all factions of life, all institutions of life. So that's how it shows up in anime too. That's why representation is important, because all of that comes out.
Yeah.
That's why imagination is important today, because we get to imagine and reimagine, as you were saying,
And
in our
that's
future.
reinforcing the what I've said earlier, that the more you are black, the more you are less intelligence, the more you are look like a villain to other people.
A what?
A villain.
What's that?
It's a bad person.
A villain.
Villain. Yeah, villain or a bad person.
Mm.
If you're having a darker skin.
So that is a Asian view on black people, or black Asians,
Yeah.
or dark skin altogether. And that's something that you guys didn't just come up with by yourselves, right? That's something that's a vestige of slavery that comes from colorism, bigotry, and all is bleeds out in your society because it comes from white Euro Asianism.
It was it was embedded to our mind that those peoples are creepy, scary.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to be aware of them, something like that. But not all Filipinos are like that. They just want to.
Well, I'm not saying all Asians are this way.
Yeah.
Because here's the caveat. A lot of millions of Asians are black Asians. So, of course, all of Asia is not like that. We're not talking about the ones who are black Asians. We're talking about the ones who consider themselves light, bright, almost white, or white adjacent. And that happens to be most people who are Asian who fit that eugenic view of white Euro-Asianism, that picture of the modeled minority or the modeled citizen of an Asian. That's when, this is my last point. When I was growing up, I thought everybody was Chinese, because that's what showed us in TV, going back to eugenics, going back to white Euro-Asianism.
Euro-Asian.
All right? That's all I was had to say. So,
and just to add,
close this out.
I'm also a black person. I used to be black. I used to have a darker skin. But because of this colonialization and everything, the words coming to the white people that having a brighter skin, a whiter skin is, a more intelligent, a more likely you be liked by people. So I used to bleach my skin.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. So you tell me that you have pictures you can show me that you were black?
Yeah.
And now, because you look so different, you look, I'm not saying you're pale, but you're very, 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 very light.
Well, it happens because of, some reasons. Yeah, I used to be black. I'm proud of being, having a native skin of the Filipino, which is the Moreno. But then there's something happened which makes me decide to bleach my skin. But, I'm still, proud of my natural skin. I'm not bleaching anymore. I'm not doing the colorism and everything. I'm just, happy being me. And for that, so do you have any anything to say?
No, I think I said pretty much everything I had to say so far in this interview. Thank you so much for taking your time out to host this segment. I appreciate it.
Okay, so thank you also for giving me a chance to do this with you. And again, as what you're saying to every video you have, be smart, be happy, and be healthy. So, good night, good evening, good morning. Have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you.
All right, you've just listened to another part of the Cafe Wish Podcast CWP interview. If you did enjoy listening to this part, I encourage you to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And until next time, guys, be smart, be happy, be healthy. Take care.